What's cooking? Welcome to day 32. Just landed here in Portugal, and obviously can't be forgetting to film these for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about how to be successful as a closer, even if you're brand new, right? Pretty much what we're going to cover here is the formula to become successful in sales, the mindset that separates closers who make 10, 15, 20K plus per month from those who kind of cap at five or even less. Um, the habits, the inputs, and the standards, most importantly, that you guys need to adopt to actually achieve the results that you have for yourself, the goals that you have for yourself, even. And you need to adopt those immediately. And on top of that, how to make sure to track your progress and grow so that you are on track to your goals. So, um, the path to being a successful closer, what we're doing, this entire thing, right? I'm not doing this for myself, okay? I'm doing this for you. So this is this isn't a course, right? This is a training camp to turn you into an absolute beast. And you can either choose to, watch this information and kind of let it pass you by, watch this information and just write notes to feel good about yourself, or you can choose to watch these, take notes, implement, study further, look at previous videos that I've done, look at other resources that are out there, right? And educate yourself and implement the knowledge. Because at the end of the day, the only thing stopping you from where you want to be is just doing the thing. That's it. Like, the way you look at me, right? I have no idea how you look at me, but for the past 32 days that we've been recording this, I've recorded these from London, from Croatia, from Italy, from Spain, from France, now in Portugal. And we're also going to be recording these when I go to Amsterdam in the Netherlands in a couple weeks. I have the ability to work where I want, when I want, and make a good income from it, right? You can do the exact same. I'm just further ahead than you guys. That's the only difference here. I am a few steps of implementation ahead of you. That is it. That is the only difference between you and I. I'm not better than you in any way, shape, or form. I'm just ahead. I'm on my chapter 5, and you guys are on your chapter 1. So when I say this, listen, implement, please, for the love of God, because that's why I'm making this, right? I'm so busy with other things, but I still find the time to make these for you guys, okay? So, the first step, study like a lunatic, man, right? So I've mentioned this, is just go deep, right, on the sales process. Watch the videos. From what I'm telling you, write your own scripts, right? Really understand the flow of the call, objection handling, the structure of the pitch. This is a playbook, right? And like in sports, we've brought this analogy on many times. If you don't know the plays, you're not going to win the game, right? So understand this. Really solidify the knowledge that I'm providing you with. Then, role play relentlessly. Do at least 2 role plays a day. If you were in my community, I would say role play with the guys and the girls that we have 3 to 4 times a day, easily, not a problem. With people who know and understand the framework, who can give you actionable, solid feedback. But we spoke about the role play advice previously, so implement that. But make sure you are role playing relentlessly and doing at least 2 a day, right? Practice live on camera, review it, and get that feedback. And at first, yeah, you're going to be a bit awkward. Sure you are. But that's the point, right? You're not going to be the best as soon as you start. It takes time. It takes reps. Then get punched in the face, or get punched in the dick, or get punched in the balls, get punched in the boobs, whatever you want to say, right? Just get real world reps. Because once you've studied and practiced, you need to get on real calls. You need to rip that band-aid off. And for the first few calls, there's a chance you get slapped around, right? But that's fine, because that's how you learn. Record every single call. Review your game tape. like an athlete does, right? Your first 30 to 50 calls won't be pretty. That's expected, right? But after 100 calls, you'll start printing. You will start printing. And that's why if you do the role plays, the more you do, the more prepared you will be when you actually jump on sales calls, real sales calls. Okay? So it's super important. Then, the closer's mindset, right? What separates winners and losers? Firstly, help first, sell second. The fastest way to build trust on a sales call is to actually give a fuck. It's to actually care about who you're talking to. If your goal is to actually help the prospect make the best decision for themselves, your tone, your body language, and your presence, your energy will do all the heavy lifting for you, right? You don't need to be that slick salesperson. You just need to be real. And people will be able to feel that energy. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing, control your environment. Early on in this series, I did a whole video on your environment and the kind of environment you need to build for yourself. Control your environment, because otherwise it's going to control you. Humans are slaves to their environments, right? They're slaves to their surroundings. Don't rely on willpower, right? Because if you put yourself in an environment that's really hard to say no to certain things and you're surrounded by degeneracy, you need a lot more willpower than an environment where you're surrounded by winners, whether it be digitally or physically, right? It's so different. You want to make sure that you're selling in a clean room that's quiet and well lit, right? This isn't the best lighting because there's shadow on my face, but clean background, right? And you want to have your phone on do not disturb, mute it, have no distractions, have water at your desk, okay? You need to prepare. There's this saying, my girlfriend always tells me, it's prior preparation prevents piss poor performance, right? So prepare, simply. Next, sleep. Pretty simple. Sleep. You need sleep. You need to maximize sleep and optimize sleep. Have blackout blinds. If you can't afford blackout blinds, get a sleep mask, right? If you don't like a sleep mask, pay up for the blackout blinds. If it's very noisy where you are, get earbuds. You can get natural ones that aren't like chemically gross. You can get like beeswax, right? Just put them here on the outside. Be careful not to dig it into your ear. That's something you can do. Taking magnesium at night is super good for that as well. Electrolytes, staying hydrated. You need to sleep 7 to 8 hours uninterrupted. Minimum. Because the reason you need to treat yourself like an athlete, like I've mentioned before. Poor sleep is going to mean poor performance, right? If I ever see a sales call where the closers are yawning throughout the entire thing, I can tell you they're not going to close it. They're not going to close the call. Because top closers understand that they need to recover. Selling can be socially draining, so you need to recover, right? On top of that, treat this like a sport, professional sport. Hit the gym, move your body. I would always recommend, when you're taking sales calls, eat, but eat light, right? You don't want to eat a lot of glutinous carbs. Never eat like a full bowl of pasta, right? I've done that before when I was starting out and I was still not making a lot of money. And it's just hard because you get tired, your food coma hits. Eat clean, avoid sugar crashes, take caffeine, drink caffeine, not every day. I would recommend Monday to Friday, taking the weekends off so that you actually get the effects of caffeine. Because if you drink caffeine every day, you don't get the effects of caffeine. Or you need to drink a lot of caffeine to then get the effects. Only consume caffeine 90 minutes after you've woken up. So you wake up at 8:30, don't consume caffeine before 10, for example. Then, obviously, don't consume caffeine 8 hours before you're going to go to sleep. Create a schedule for yourself. When you are done with your sales calls, watch call recordings, study, role play, break things down, improve, right? Really, like I said, treat this like it's a pro sport. Then track every metric, right? So my clients, I provide them with tracking sheets, things to track. How many dials they're doing, how many DMs they're sending if they're setters, how many calls they're booking, what is the show up rate, what is the close rate, how much revenue is being generated, what's the average cash collected, how much cash is being collected, the difference between cash collected and revenue for those potentially wondering right now. So let's say I'm selling a 10K package and I get them on a payment plan to pay 5K up front and 5K next month. I am collecting 5K in cash because that is how much I've actually brought into the business on that call. But revenue generated, I've generated 10 grand because when that hits, it's 10 grand coming in. But cash collected is 5K. Now, this is an important metric because as a salesperson, you need to understand how much, for example, like if I'm closing deals that are, let's say, 10 grand, but my average cash collected is 4K, that's bad, right? You want to be aiming for around 5K minimum. You should be collecting at least 50% up front when you are on sales calls because that's how you make a lot of money, but that's also how the business likes it to be. That's how it flows well. So you'll be in the good books for the business and you'll also be making a lot of money. So that's kind of what you want to be aiming for. You can use a Google Sheet, a Notion, whatever, but track it. Track those statistics. I'll say them again. How many dials, how many DMs are being sent? How many bookings? How many of those are qualified? What is the show rate? What is the close rate? What is the revenue generated and the cash collected every single day? You get those statistics. You're able to start reading the data, reading the numbers, so you can actually see where you need to improve. Because that is super important. Because, for example, if your show rate, if the amount, what that is in that statistic, I'll explain it. It's, okay, let's say you have 10 calls in a day, 5 show up, you have a 50% show rate. So, for example, if you can see your show rate is 50%, that means if you bring it up to 70%, that's an extra 2 calls a day. That's an extra 14 calls a week if you're taking calls every day. If you have a 40% close rate, 14 times 40, that's like a 5 to 6 deals you're closing extra per week by simply improving your show rate and keeping everything the same, right? So that is the power of tracking the numbers because you're able to really see, okay, if I improve this, then I can see that. And with my clients, we show them how to improve every single metric so that they are actually printing money, okay? But you need to be tracking your inputs and your outputs. Because if you're not, you should be fucking criminally charged because you're just flying blind otherwise and you're hoping. It's like throwing mud at a wall and hoping something sticks. Then, record every sales call. I feel like that's a given, but every sales call you're on needs to be recorded. And you need to watch it back the same day or the next day. Ask yourself, where did I lose control? Did I match their energy? Did I actually handle the objection well, or did I fold? Did I fold under pressure? Did I let the prospect lie to me, right? Lie to themselves, most importantly. Treat every call like an athlete's game, basketball game. Rewatch them all. Learn, right? That's what separates those that make 5K to those that make 20K. If you review the game tape, right? It's so important. And then finally, money is good. There's this perception, people say online, it's like, look, I know I talk a lot about money, by no means is money everything in life. That's not what I'm saying. However, money is great. Let's not pretend otherwise, right? Making money allows you to help your family, build freedom, give you time, build security. It gives you options. It gives you freedom to live the life way you want to do it. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more. You should never, ever feel bad for wanting to make a lot of money. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you should actually demand more from yourself. Always. Top closers and general entrepreneurs and people who are successful, They don't apologize for chasing 20K, 30K, 50K, 100K, $1 million per month. They don't. Why would they apologize? They know what they want. It's good to be driven. It's good to be ambitious. It's good to want things. But by all means, does it define you as a person? No. Does it actually, in the grand scheme of things, does it mean anything to you? Not really. But it allows you to live your life how you want to live your life. Life's too short to work a 9 to 5 for 40 years to retire at 60 or 70. And then you have, 20 years left of life, and you're not at your prime. Right? I'm in my prime right now. Right? I'm 23. I'm making money. I'm traveling the world. I do what I want. I help my family. Like, it's fucking sick. And if you want this too, you can have it. Like, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because you can do it too. You just have to implement everything I've said and everything I've been saying. I'm giving you the tools to succeed. But one thing I will say is, like, it's not about information. It's about implementation. Don't get it twisted. People don't come to me for information. Maybe they think they do. But people come to me for implementation. Because if someone comes to work with me, I'm turning them into a savage. A savage. People in my community, my clients, they make 10, 20K like it's nothing. Nothing. And that is what you need to strive for. Because you deserve better than working crappy 9 to 5 and retiring when you're 70. To live the rest of your life, okay, yeah, you're free, but you're 70 and you're old and your body doesn't move how it used to and you're tired, and no, you're better than that, all right? That's it for today. Bit of a mindset focused one today, but I feel like I wanted to get some things off my chest as well, all right? So, let's push hard, right? After watching this video, don't leave. And if you're here still, kudos to you. Kudos to you. Seriously. Because some people watch 2 minutes and they fucking click off because they have the attention span of goldfish. So kudos to you for still watching. But implement this, please. Please. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.